Hello, you guys, and welcome back to Mystical Visions. So, as we close the year out, I wanted to dive into some kind of end of the year type readings for you guys towards the end of this month. And today, I want to take a look at something very interesting, and that is what energy are we leaving behind in 2023? Every new year brings with it a new sort of spirit, a new energy, a new vibe, for lack of a better word. And sometimes there are things that we hold on to that are way past their expiration date. So in today's reading, I want to take a look at what that might be for you and what you should just happily let go of before the year closes out. So as always, we have three piles. For pile number one, we have this really cool spirally pointy shell guy. Kind of looks like a drill bit. I don't know if any of you guys do woodwork or nails. It looks like a drill bit. For pile two, we have a slightly less sharp spirally boy. And for pile number three, we have this really cool shell guy that kind of looks like a pistachio shell, I'm not gonna lie. So those are your three options. I'll give you a second to pick whatever pile resonates with you most. If this reading resonates as a whole, then please remember to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel out so much. And I can't wait to dive into these messages. So yeah, without any further ado, let's go ahead and pick a pile. Hello, pile one, and welcome to your reading about what energy we're letting go of by the end of this year. What energy are we leaving behind in 2023? So if you chose this pointy little, pointy little drill bit guy, then welcome, you're in the right place. So I actually have a format today. The way I've laid this reading out is we have what you're actually leaving behind, what it actually is. We have what it taught you in 2023, why you should let it go, and finally, what is coming looking ahead once you let this go. And then we'll pull some advice cards, some oracle on camera. Okay, so let's dive in. What are you leaving behind, or what should you leave behind? We have the devil. So the devil, instantly I'm hearing unfair contracts. Also, I do have a green tea on the side, by the way, because I just randomly got the sniffles. I don't know why I'm telling you this. But maybe you have the sniffles as well, in which case, solidarity. But the devil, immediately I heard unfair contract. I feel like somewhere you've tied yourself to an unfair contract that isn't going in your favor. And you kind of feel obligated to stick to it. Now, this is something I dealt with earlier this year, with a very unfair kind of client contract, and it just did not work for me. I was being severely underpaid, severely overworked, and, it was just not worth it. And it was heartbreaking to walk away because it was a long-time client. But sometimes you have to make these difficult decisions in order to move forward and invite into our lives what really belongs. We deserve to be appreciated for the work that we do. We deserve to be applauded and rewarded for all the time and energy that we're putting into, our work. And so where in your life, and this doesn't necessarily have to be about work, this could be kind of a relationship contract of some sort, or terms of arrangement, maybe a rental agreement. something where you've made an agreement with someone else that is just very, very unfair, it's very skewed in their favor, and you just don't feel fulfilled by it in whatever sense that word resonates with you. And that is what we're leaving behind, because the devil is big Capricorn energy. And sorry, I'm going to keep sipping this and disappearing for like half a second. The devil is big Capricorn energy. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is often seen as judge and jury. And in order to really work that energy, we need to make sure that there is justice involved. So the more you kind of push yourself down and think you don't deserve a better contract because according to you, you're not doing enough to warrant a better contract, the more unfair life is going to be, because that's the energy you are saying that you're willing to accept. That's the energy you're putting out to the universe, saying, hey, this is a less than ideal contract for me, but that's okay with me. That's not okay, Pile 1. You, as much as everyone else involved in the process, you deserve equal pay or equal rights or whatever your situation is. So what we're leaving behind in 2023 is unfair contracts. But let's look at what it taught you. We have the 3 of Coins in reverse. Okay, so the 3 of Coins upright talks about working collaboratively. And okay, so maybe the lesson here was that sometimes it's okay to work alone or to live alone or to do whatever you're doing alone. Sometimes it's necessary even to enjoy your own company in whatever context this may be. I'm being called to look for the keywords. Hang on. So this is the book that came with it. 3 of Coins in reverse. Poor work ethic, apathy, lack of goals, willfulness. Maybe the reason this is a bad contract is because either your goals don't match up with everyone else involved in the contract. Maybe you have different goals, but you've kind of suppressed them in order to please. Maybe there's a people-pleasing energy here. Power 1. Look, if there's a people-pleasing energy, I'm going to tell you straight up, you're not doing anyone any favors. Honestly, you think that by trying to please everyone that you might be making people's lives easier. I promise you are not. Maybe in that moment, but in the long run, they're going to expect everyone to go with what they say, and then they're going to have a rude awakening. And for some reason, I trust that when you take yours, it's not going to be in a rude sense. Does that make sense? The point is, it's better that they hear it from you than from someone who wouldn't be as kind. But for you, I think the lesson here was definitely maybe you don't need collaboration in order to be successful. I know there's this huge thing, especially if you're in the social media world or the creative game in any way. There's this huge emphasis on collaboration. It's not what you know, it's who you know, and so on and so forth. And yeah, absolutely, there is certain merit to that. However, there is also just as much merit in working by yourself, in living by yourself, in being by yourself. And it's not so much about choosing one or the other, it's about finding balance. Again, that justice energy keeps coming through. It's about finding balance. And I think, again, with these unfair contracts as well, I think there's a lot of imbalance, and we're definitely leaving that energy behind in 2023, because I I see so much stability coming your way, but in order to achieve that, you have to ask for it. And the way you ask for it is by being more discerning about what you're willing to accept and what you will no longer stand for. Why is it important for you to let this go? We have the Four of Coins. Maybe this is about work or like money or something like this, because we have the 3 and the 4. Oh, succession. Maybe this will bring you to your next level. I mean, yeah, of course it will, because this is growth, isn't it? But oh, okay. Why you should like okay. So the Four of Coins. Sorry, I just made like a million connections just now. So the Four of Coins is a card about hoarding, about holding on so tightly because you're so afraid of, if you let go, what's gonna happen? It's that fear of the unknown. It's like, I'd rather be uncomfortable in a familiar environment than be extremely happy in an unfamiliar zone. Is that kind of energy. And I think the whole reason that you need to go through this process of letting go of this contract is to stop hoarding in this context. So going back to the example about my long-term client that I spoke about, I think I did feel this Four of Coins energy big time because, work can sometimes be hard to come by. And when you find a client that you work well with, sometimes it's quite it's quite a slippery slope in that you want to keep them and you'll do anything to keep them at any cost to yourself. And that is kind of hoarding behavior because it's uncomfortable to not get what you think you're worth, what you're worth even. But we want to hold on so tightly because these opportunities are so rare to come by that we're afraid they're going to slip through our fingers again. And that is quite literally hoarding energy. And your next leap from the 3 to 4, your next step, I think, involves a lesson about letting go. That doesn't mean that you go out and cut your contacts off completely, but it's more about like an emotional letting go. And it's not easy. Trust me. Letting go is the hardest thing you will ever do. It's the hardest thing anyone ever does because we kind of are conditioned to hold on so tightly, to have that fear of loss. It's kind of how they sell everything to us. But letting go is the hardest thing you'll do, but also it will be your biggest salvation, I'm hearing. So what happens if you do let go? What's the outcome here? Oh, we have the Queen of Cups. Emotional maturity. Yeah, the ability to let go is definitely emotional maturity, but also emotional control. Oh, okay. Do you tend to be extremely emotional, Part 1? Like, is that something you've struggled with in the past? Because I feel like, oh, my tea is way too sweet. I feel like, do you see how in this imagery, she's kind of holding that cup is full of emotion, and she's like holding a lid on top of it. It feels like she's got it exactly where she wants it. She's got her emotions exactly where she wants them. And at what intensity she wants them. She's like in control. It's a sense of emotional maturity. And maybe this unfair contract triggers some immature emotions in you. Maybe it triggers some very intense emotions in you. But even more intense than that is this fear of letting go. And so it feels like this turmoil inside of you where you're like, I know this triggers me, but it would be worse if I had nothing at all. And because of that, I feel like you're holding yourself back. You're allowing yourself to be held back by these awful terms, part one. So whatever you do in the new year, I want you to rethink your terms when it comes to anything. Don't jump at the first offer that comes your way. Take your time and mull it over, honestly, because it's so easy to fall into the trap of, breadcrumbs is better than nothing, At least they're giving me something that should be good enough. I should be grateful, things like that. I don't think that's gratitude. I feel like I need to say this because I think this might be a I keep hearing misconfusion. It might be a confusing concept. Okay. Wow. Oh, that tea is so sweet. I put way too much sugar in it. Okay. So this might be a sort of confusing thing to get your head around. We hear in the spiritual community, we hear a lot about be grateful, show thanks for what you have, and at the same time be mindful of the energy you put out into the universe. And sometimes they can be at loggerheads, because if you're getting the bare minimum, you want to be grateful, but you also want to ask for more. I think a big part of your lesson, once you learn to let this go, will be, maybe that's the balance. Maybe that's the balance that you're achieving or learning to achieve, is between I'm so grateful for what I do have, and I would also like better and more. However, you can't receive better or more unless you're also grateful for that. And in order to be grateful for that, you have to cultivate a sense of, I deserve this. Because otherwise we cannot feel that feeling of gratitude. Interesting. I feel like while channeling for you, I'm having pretty big ascension moments. Interesting, Palman. So let's go ahead and take a look at some advice for you. If my deck could just make it way to me. Thank you. So what... Straight away, empathic starseed, energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours. Am I in frame? Empathic starseed. Maybe there is a sense of empathy that is keeping you in this contract. Maybe you're like, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, so I'm going to take a bad deal just to make everyone involved comfortable. And let me just tell you now, Pal One, you're not helping anyone. I told you this earlier in your reading. You are not helping by accepting less than your worth. If anything, you're setting up all these other people for failure in the longer run, because these people are then not going to know what value you add to the table, and eventually enough is going to be enough, and they're going to lose you, and they're going to lose whoever replaces you in the team or whatever the situation is. We need to teach people how much we are worth, and we need to teach people how they should be loving us. And it's easy for me to sit here and give you this advice because I struggle with this myself. But it is a process, and we're here to grow and learn. And with every new year, we get a new opportunity to kind of reinvent ourselves. So maybe this is your opportunity to give it another go. Maybe reconsider what you're worth. And if you find that your sense of self-worth hasn't changed, force it different. Fake it till you make it. And I promise you will find that not only will people be willing to give you more than you have asked for. But if they don't, you'll find that there is a million other people in this world who are more than happy to give you that and more. So, one final card for my pile number 1, please. Any advice on how they can go about letting this go? What they can look forward to in the new year? What energy? Okay. Don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? I was doing a reading for myself earlier and this exact same card came out. How are you dimming your light to fit in? Isn't that literally just the entire theme of your spread today, pile 1? So whatever you are receiving, I can tell you now, it is not equivalent to what you are giving to this contract, whatever this contract is. So what we're leaving behind in 2023 is the idea that we deserve less than we are worth. Okay? So that's your reading for today, pile number 1. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me. I really hope you start to ask for more because I know you deserve more. But yeah, thanks so much for letting me read for you. If you enjoyed this video and it resonated, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. Hello to all the new faces here. Thank you so much for being here, and stick around to the outro for another reading on my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye! Pile 2! Wow, before we even dive into any of this, I just want to say, this candle's been going crazy. The second I channeled into your energy, there is so much smoke coming out. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it was not doing this whole time. It's been on for half an hour. It wasn't doing any of this nonsense. So maybe there's a lot of negativity leaving you 2023. That's great. But yeah, welcome to your reading. If you chose this spirally cool looking guy, then this is your reading. And as always, we have a layout today. So the way I'm going to read these cards is what is leaving your life. That's this card, what the actual thing is that is leaving in 2023. Our second card is going to tell us what this thing taught you, what this experience taught you, what the lesson was. Card number 3 is going to tell us why you need to let it go. And finally, card number 4 is going to give us the outcome, what's coming once you've let this energy go. Okay, so let's dive in. I'm really excited because do you see how the flame is dancing? It wasn't doing any of this. It was just chilling. Okay, so what is it that you're letting go? We have the Knight of Swords. Running aimlessly. I know the Knight of Swords isn't an aimless running. It's just a fast-paced intellectual card. But I immediately heard running aimlessly. Running around, being so fast-paced that you have no time to even sit down and think. Being so go, 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 go. You haven't taken any time for yourself. You haven't taken any downtime. Maybe that's why the candle's going a little crazy. It's because you're in this chaotic energy. You have been this entire year, I think, pile 2. And it's a little much. I'm immediately feeling my heart rate go up. Maybe it is the green tea, let's be honest, because it does have caffeine in it. But yeah, no, there are no accidents. But are you really anxious to get things done, especially now before the year is over? Pal 2, take a deep breath right now, please, because you're not getting anywhere. Okay, you're not gonna make any significant progress just by going faster. We need to be calculated with our moves. We need to make sure we know where we're going rather than just it's kind of like throwing a bunch of like darts in the air and hoping one of them lands on the target. I feel like you have too many fingers and too many pies, and I'm speaking in too many metaphors, but yeah, it feels like your energy is a little scattered right now. It's a little all over the place. And oh, okay, I just heard really clearly in 2024, you're going to have to learn to focus because something important is happening for you. And in order to fulfill it the way you are meant to, you need to have your senses about you. You need to be able to sit down and think clearly. Oh, the dogs are going crazy in the background. Sorry about that. I don't know if the mic's picking it up, but there's a bunch of strays. And they're just screaming for no reason, see? Everything's going a little crazy right now. Pearl 2. But, okay, maybe, and I'm not, licensed in any way whatsoever, but maybe there is some sort of attention deficit or some sort of hyperactivity, manic disorder here. Not making a diagnosis, of course not, but I feel like that might resonate for some of you guys. Or just a tendency to be so nervous and hyperactive all the time. And part 2, you need to figure that out. You need to figure that out before the year closes out, because I feel like early to mid 2024, something really crucial to your soul's purpose is coming in. And I keep hearing you need to be steady for that. You need to be level-headed for this. You need to make sure that you have all your faculties in check. That is such an old school saying. Interesting. You need to make sure that you have the ability to sit down and focus your energy, because I don't know what it is. Maybe we'll find out later in the reading, but whatever it is going to require your full attention. There is no room for error there. And so before the year is over, we need to sit down and recalculate how we're spending our energy. Part 2. Interesting. But let's take a look at what this chaotic energy has taught you. We have the Hanged Man in reverse. Maybe you've spent a lot of your time just being passive or not having the energy for everything. Oh, okay. Maybe you've had some sort of like low energy lifetime so far. Like you never really had the energy for anything. And now that you do, now that you're finally able to get up and go do things and be a go-getter, it feels like you haven't stopped to breathe for 1 second. Pile 2. It feels a little bit like you've spent so long in this Hanged Man energy where you were forced to stay still and go inwards. And then suddenly you've come out of that stasis. And because of this, you're constantly like, oh, I need to do every single thing. I need to do everything I can possibly do right now, just in case that Hanged Man energy comes back. Interesting. So this was less a lesson and more like an opportunity for you to make up for lost time. Kind of like maybe if you were unemployed for a long time and then suddenly you got employment or a business or something like this, and instantly you're go. And because you spent so long not having this opportunity, you're kind of overcompensating for it to the point where it's kind of taking years off your life, is what I'm hearing, Pile 2. Isn't that funny I called you Pile 3? It's like even with picking a pile, you couldn't just wait and stick to 2. You had to go to the next one. It's this rush. It's like do you ever stop? You know, like, when do you sit down and take time for yourself? Or take time to just breathe? You know, it doesn't even have to be any elaborate self-care, but when was the last time you just sat down and did nothing? Interesting. Okay. Anyway, we might come back to this, I have a feeling. But why do you need to let this chaotic energy go? It's the Three of Swords in reverse. The Three of Swords upright usually talks about heartbreak. Like something hurtful is happening. Okay. Do you feel... Okay, so this is me just, you know, shot in the dark. But do you feel this kind of emotional debt almost? Like you identify your worth with your productivity, and because you spent so long being unproductive, productivity is a myth made by the industrial class, but that's a whole other thing. But you feel like you spent all this time doing nothing. You kind of owe people all this like extra work. It feels like there's an emotional component to this, Pearl 2. And you need to let it go, because it's all about growing emotionally. And part of that is realizing, so, okay. Sorry. I need to ground my energy. Part 2, you guys definitely need to ground your energy. I'm just reading it and I'm all mixed up, so chill out. But okay, so when we grow up, you know, physically or in terms of age, we learn that a lot of maturity might be tied to, okay, stop being so selfish, stop being all about you, and maybe consider how everyone else feels. Understandable? Good lesson. Sometimes we then hold on to that lesson and reject everything else. And because of this, we start to learn that we need to dedicate our entire lives to the service of other people, and that our emotions are not valid unless they are validated by other people. And I think you feel this kind of desperate need for validation, where it's like, maybe you come from a place or a family or a house or, you know, people that consider productivity to be the ultimate test of how valuable a person is. And you feel like because you spent all this time being unproductive, that you need to kind of prove your worth. But you have to understand that proving your worth is not a physical thing. It's not even a real thing. But if it had to be, it would be an emotional thing. I feel like I'm talking in circles, part 2. But the point I'm trying to make is this is not something you need to do. It's something you have to deal with on an emotional level. It's not a physical thing. It's not like if I put in X amount of hours and do all of this like crazy stuff for all these people, then I will be worthy of their love. Or then I will be worthy of whatever. That's not true. This is an emotional hurdle you need to get over. And that's why you need to let go of this rushing energy. Part number 2. is so that you can grow past that. That's emotional maturity, is understanding that not everything can be about you, but also not everything can be about everyone else. Interesting. So let's go ahead and take a look at what is coming once you let this go. So our final card is the Devil. Devil's back. What's coming is a sense of power, of control over your own choices. The Devil it usually talks about like contracts and being bound to something. But for some reason, I'm not getting the traditional meaning of the Devil. I'm getting the symbolic meaning of it, in the sense of the Devil is the Capricorn card. And Capricorn is all about prestige, about career, about success, building an empire, that kind of energy. But none of that is possible unless you see yourself as the authority over your own time. Unless you see yourself as valuable enough to take time out for. You spend all your days taking time for everyone else, be it your co-workers, your boss, your business partners, your family, your parents, your children, your siblings, all these people. How much of that do you give to yourself? You give all this time to all these people because you value them, you love them, you want to nurture that relationship. But what about that relationship that you have with yourself? Who's going to nurture that, pile 2? When you nurture that relationship, when you work on mending fences with your own self, is when you gain control over your life, when things stop spiraling, when things stop being so crazy and chaotic and out of your control. That's when you enter this carefree. Yeah, that's the word, carefree. This carefree energy. This Capricorn energy of, being the boss. That's what's coming for you the second you let this go. Pile 2. So let's go ahead and take some advice cards for you. Any advice for pile 2 with letting this go? Thank you. That's way too many. Oh, the golden children. Inner child, tenderness, innocence, rare gifts. Yeah, what did I say about mending that relationship with yourself? Pile 2 is definitely inner child work. Is learning to indulge your own whims, because you, of all people, deserve your time and energy, because you're the one you spend the longest with. If that relationship is broken, how are you going to show up for anyone else in your life? I keep wanting to call you pile 3. Maybe there is messages for you in pile 3, but we'll see. One final card for pile number 2s, please. Whoa, that's too many. Yeah, do you see? This is chaos energy. Don't get me wrong, I thrive in chaos energy, but wow. Okay, this one. Thank you. Answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? Maybe 2024 is the year that you discover your calling. I'm going to say that again just in case the cards drowned it out. But maybe 2024 is the year you find your calling, pile 2, and you realize that all this running around was just keeping you from going inwards and actually discovering your calling much sooner, and realizing how much more fun life could be if you just sat down with yourself for 2 minutes and asked yourself what you're here for, as opposed to running around trying to fit a narrative, trying to, fit a mold of what you think you should be doing. I think the whole reason you were given this time as much as it sucked at the time. The whole reason you were given this time to sit down and do nothing was so you could go inward and find this calling. But, it's never too late. The universe tried to strong arm you into going inwards and you refused. So the universe is trying to drown you in all this external stuff, so you're forced to go inwards. It's going to keep happening until you sit down and take the time to talk to yourself, Pearl 2, and look inside you, see why you're here. Okay, so that's the message I have for you today, Pearl number 2. Thank you so much for hanging out and spending some time with me and letting me read for you and sharing your energy with me. Please take a breath. Please sit down and go inwards, because trust me, it will be worth it. But yeah, that's everything. I really hope this reading resonated. And if it did, then please remember to like, comment, subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. I really, really hope you get a moment to yourself to figure all of this out. Stick around to the outro if you'd like to see another reading on my channel. But that's everything I have to say today. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. Pile number 3, hello and welcome to your reading about what energy we're leaving behind in 2023. So if you guys chose this really cool, super seashell-y looking seashell guy, then this is your reading. Welcome. So we do have a spread today. We do have a format. The way I've laid these cards out is this first card is going to tell us what it is you're leaving behind in 2023. Card number 2 is going to tell us what this taught you, why you experienced this, and what your lesson was. Our third card is going to be about why it's important to let this go. And our final card is going to be about what's coming for you when you let this go. And then we'll take a couple of oracle cards just for any advice. And there's our confirmation bike going around. I didn't even say anything. Okay, so let's dive right in. What is it that you're going to be leaving behind? The 9 of Coins. Interesting. Okay. Worry not. Because I feel like I picked up on some panic energy. I feel like you guys are worried that you're going to lose abundance. No. First of all, no, you're not. What you are going to let go of, or what you should let go of, is this. Okay, so it could be twofold. 1, hyper-independence. You're my hyper-independence pile. I see you. I feel you. I am you. But this sense of I have to do everything in order to feel worthy of the rewards I receive. That could be one thing you're letting go of. The other thing could be a need to physically see the results before you believe it. The need to see a physical proof almost of you earning something, deserving. Okay, the need to see physical proof of something before I can't even think of the words, Pile 3. I feel like your energy is so abstract right now. So, okay, say now you are trying to manifest something. There's people who can visualize and bring it into their lives with just complete faith. And then there's people who need a constant kind of physical confirmation. It's that anxious attachment style, but with the universe, if that makes sense. It's a feeling of, oh, please show me that it's coming. Please show me it's coming. And that could be something you're letting go of, because the reason I say that is probably the imagery here, where he's holding these watermelons as physical proof that his effort has paid off. And that might be something that you constantly look for. You constantly look for that reassurance from the universe when you're manifesting something. And that's something we need to let go of before the year closes out. when we work with energies, when we work with the universe, when we work with manifestation and, things like that, there is kind of like you need to understand that there's only so much our human brains can perceive in the physical reality. And if as souls we want to evolve past that, we need to start by trusting our intuition a little more, by letting go of this desperate need to see before you can believe. Does that make sense, Palfrey? I feel like you could... Okay, maybe you struggle with manifesting purely because there's a slight lack of faith. I think faith is another message I would get from this imagery, because as someone who recently got into gardening, let me tell you, a lot of it is faith. I've learned about patience and just believing that a plant will grow from seed. That's been like, I've learned it through gardening more than I've learned it through anything else. And to see this guy like holding the fruit, the literal fruit of his labor, I know that would have taken a lot of faith. So what we're going to have to let go of is a lack of faith, is not trusting that something could work out for you, whether or not you're constantly asking for proof. It's about putting the intention out there and then just letting it go. Allowing it the freedom to then come back to you once it's manifested. That could also be like a hyper-independence thing, by the way, is you being so used to forcing yourself to be the one to make things happen, that when it comes to manifesting along with the universe, that's kind of like a group project between you and the universe and all the energies that are involved in the process. You need to learn to allow other people to do some of the work. Even if it is not exactly how you would do it, you need to allow it. Interesting. This is very interesting energy, Palfrey. However, it's not that this sense of hyper-independence was just here by fluke. So let's take a look at what it taught you. Why was this here? The Hanged Man. We've had a lot of repeating cards across piles today. The Hanged Man, upright. New perspective. Oh, okay. So maybe you weren't always like this. Okay, I'm getting a very specific story. Only take it if it resonates. You know the drill with how these readings go. But there's this story that's kind of unfolding in my mind about someone who had so much faith, almost to an extent of it being blind faith, in the universe, to a point where you felt like you didn't have to do any work. Like, it's the other extreme of just not taking any inspired action at all and expecting God or the universe or whatever your faith system is to provide for you without you doing any of the work. And I think you may have had a harsh reality check, a rude awakening, that then pushed you to the other extreme of being hyper independent, of being like, if I want to get anything done, I have to do it myself, or it's just not going to be done. So maybe the reason you stepped into this energy was to give you that new perspective of, actually, if you don't take any action, nothing will get done. But now that you've learned that lesson and you had that faith from earlier, I think you're ready to step into an energy of finding balance between the two. Take action, but only take inspired action. Don't try to micromanage the universe. I would be surprised if that card didn't come out in the Oracle. advice cards later, but we'll see. But yeah, the reason you've had to do this, what it taught you, the reason you had to live in this energy is to kind of give you a new perspective on faith and on how things work with manifesting. It's not about, doing absolutely nothing and hoping the universe will provide. And it's definitely not about doing everything for yourself because you're skeptical about the universe providing exactly what you want, exactly how you want it. We need to find a sense of balance. So why is it important for you to let this go now? We have the Empress. It's a lot of nature related cards, Pal 3. Do you work with like plants or animals or forests or something like this? So lovely. But the Empress is that Taurus energy of having faith but putting in the work. That's exactly what it is, because she has her eyes closed. She has, that inner world that is so rich and so believing of magic. There's so much faith and trust in the universe being this real, magnificent, alive thing that is working with her. But at the same time, she is still creating by herself. She's doing the work. In the traditional tarot deck, I'm sure you know, the Empress card is often shown as pregnant, as a symbol of creativity and fertility, of her doing the work while also sitting still and allowing it to be done through her. And you need to let go of this micromanaging energy, because otherwise you're going to miss out on all the beauty that's around you. You're going to miss out on all the majesty of the universe, is what I'm hearing. You need to let go of this desperate need to control every single aspect of everything you do and everything you want to manifest. Because if you're gonna sit down and control every single aspect, where's the room for magic? Where's the room for unexpected joy? Where's the room for like surprises and serendipity? There's so much beauty in the unexpected. And Palfrey, I think we need to kind of learn to appreciate that, to appreciate the joy there is in unexpected happiness, in unexpected rewards, and sometimes in curveballs, but then in recovering from said curveballs. There is a deep beauty in the unexpected, and I cannot believe I'm the person telling you this, because trust me, I have had my share of like fears about the unexpected, about not being able to control everything, but I'm still not comfortable with it whatsoever. But let me tell you, once you get on that journey of allowing things to work for you rather than forcing them to, you'll find that you can breathe so much easier. And you'll find that you can sit in one place and be okay with life and be content. Kendall's going crazy again. I think we're hitting the nail on the head, aren't we? Yeah, there we go. It's about learning to trust that when you are needed to act, you will act. And when you're needed to sit, you will sit. Oh, that's beautiful. So once we've let go of this energy, what is coming in? We have the Seven of Cups in reverse. No more illusions for you, Pile 3. No more being confused about, okay, this reminds me of that. Aladdin. I think this is literally from the story of Aladdin, but it's that you know how when Aladdin goes into the cave, and he's told don't touch anything else but the magic lamp, because when Abu accidentally touches like a gemstone, I believe it is, everything crumbles. None of it was real at all. It was all an illusion. And I think you're being told to not take all sorts of action, only the inspired ones. And this is kind of like, okay. Sorry, I'm trying to like figure this energy out, because this feels like a metaphor where the inspired action is for you to go and only grab the lamp, and the action that you are doing is going around touching everything in that treasure cave, and then everything shatters around you because it was all an illusion. And the outcome here, once you've let go of this chaotic, I have to do everything by myself, hyper independent energy, once you've let go of that, I think the outcome is you will be able to tell with absolute clarity exactly what is meant for you and what is not. There's a sense of, I'm not going to have to waste my energy chasing leads that lead to nowhere. I will know exactly where I need to invest my time. And money, even, I'm hearing. Maybe you struggle with like investing in the wrong places, like financially, and then you watch it all crumble. And maybe you're investing out of fear as opposed to out of instinct or intuition. Maybe you're investing just to invest. And that doesn't just have to be about money, by the way. It can be about anything. That's interesting. So let's go ahead and get some advice for you, pile number 3. So what's the advice for what pile number 3 should be letting go of by the end of this year, please? Thank you. I'm sorry. Defenseless. Is this whole deck upside down? No, only half of it is. Defenselessness, writing past wrongs, uprooting. Interesting. Oh, maybe you'll benefit from Ho'oponopono, which is that practice of just simply repeating, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Constantly. It doesn't have to be directed at anyone. It doesn't have to be directed at yourself. You don't have to mean it when you say it. Just constantly say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Maybe that will help you uncover things that you feel guilt about, I'm hearing. That you feel guilt about that you didn't even realize. Maybe when you had this rude awakening of where you realize that actually maybe the universe doesn't even exist, maybe I have to do everything if I want to get anything done, you kind of felt defenseless. You kind of felt like there was no one in your corner. And once you've let go of this, once you've kind of rebuilt your relationship with the universe, it might help you feel like, actually, there is someone out there for me. In fact, the whole universe is out there watching my back. Huh. Okay, and the final message for you, pile number 3, thank you. Take a break, a life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. There you go. That's all I'm saying. You don't have to be the one doing all the work. You are here to live an entire lifetime, not like 2 weeks. So stop trying to do every single thing, pile number 3, because you're just asking to be burnt out, honestly. So your assignment before the year ends is to definitely start working on rebuilding a connection with the universe. Start small, Say, okay, today I would like to see someone order this specific coffee. But you're not going to see that unless you go to a coffee shop or to like a drive-through or something. So that would be your inspired action. It's like finding little ways to reconnect and to rebuild that relationship. Okay, so that's all the messages I have for you today. Poem number 3. I really hope you enjoyed this reading and that it resonated. If it did, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel out so much. Thank you for sharing your time and energy with me and letting me read for you today. Stick around to the outro just after this for another reading on my channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye!